Hello!
Hello!
Welcome everyone to D6!
That was totally planned.
My brain flatlined. Where I, Yoroshiya, and bring together several friends from across the internet to play on a D&D live stream show. We are back this week after Blue's harrowing move. But
it was a nightmare.
Yes, we're gonna get back into it. We got some quick D6 and roll for damage announcements before we get into tonight, and then also our wonderful friends over at Gamer Supplements. So first and foremost, actually, this will be out on the 17th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll double check something because something
Today's
actually...
the 10th, a week later. 7 days, plus 7, 17.
Okay, so this will be out on the 17th. I just want to be sure because I actually might have a very special announcement if I'm allowed to. No, I can't. Shit.
Damn.
Yeah, no, have to wait until next month. Sorry. So, first and foremost, in case you guys might not know, D6, as far as any of you should know, is that we do have some social media over on Twitter, more specifically. I've been retweeting everybody's art, as well as fan-made art as well. So if you guys are interested in keeping up, or if you have any fan art that you want to turn into for the art gallery at the beginning of these episodes, then by all means, let me know with Twitter. Either tag me, tag any of our players, or tag the D6 Twitter account itself. And also use hashtag D6BA or D6 Black Archives. It will be extremely useful when I have to archive all this stuff, because I have to.
Would you say you're black archiving this stuff?
How? Anyway, also, roll for damage. We're going to be down in one show on Fridays for the next couple of weeks, mainly because of both timing as well as schedules. So the scales above will be off. For a couple of weeks. This past Friday, as well as next Friday, we're going to be off for the scales above. So if you guys are wondering where that show is right now, it's just going to be away for a little while. We'll be back. We promise. Next up, me and Joe are finally in the talks with doing our Amen one-shot, which was a one-shot or mini-series that me and Joe have been planning for a little while now. This was supposed to happen back when D6 Dawnright was around, but we plan on actually producing it. It's getting close.
Proud of you.
We're going to be talking about it this week, so if you're going to be looking forward to Joe Cat run a game from my world, then yeah, and I'll be a player. Super excited for it. But yeah. And finally, our sponsors over at Gamer Supplements, as per Connor's persuasion. Gamer Subs is a wonderful website where you can get a supplement energy powder that I use for pretty much all my everyday activities. It gives me 100 milligrams of caffeine. There's no nootropics. It's sugar-free, so it's keto and diabetic friendly. And also, it has a really good sweetener that doesn't make you have to get the runs. I prefer not having the runs. Anyways, also, there is wonderful waifu cups that you guys can order. They, more specifically, like mine over here, that I absolutely love and enjoy so freaking much. This is my varsity waifu cup.
Nice.
that I've been using since I've gotten it. And they have tons of other more cooler designs. There'll be some new designs coming out relatively soon, which I'll be able to announce a little bit later, as well as new flavors. I prefer Blue Raz, honestly.
Blue Raz is my
favorite.
absolute favorite.
And they also have a caffeine-free version for if you're doing some late-night gaming and you just want to have a good, tasty drink. So yeah, if you guys are interested in Gamersupps, then go to gamersupps.gg/Shiempai, SHIEMPAI, and use the code Shiempai in order to get 10% off your final order. I think that's everything.
I think you've got it. I think we're good. Yeah.
Can I give
Oh, God.
Can I give you like $2 as a sponsor so you could just be like, yeah, Jade the Firefox is the best. Use code Jade the Firefox to Jade the Firefox.
I'll tell you what, I'll do it for free.
Yeah!
Use code Jade the Firefox to send some Jade the Firefox some love. All right. That being said, let us go ahead and get on into tonight's episode of D6 Black Archives.
Meanwhile, we're all screaming.
Oh yes, you are
Oh, I'm
all.
still
I'm screaming.
technically.
You're all asleep.
That
Yeah.
is
Still
true.
dead asleep.
All right. So, where we had last left off. After the party getting in trouble with the EHS and now currently under evaluation, and subsequently picking up a black file, the Alchemist in specific, in search of the Alchemist, also in hopes to undo the damage that Rav had done in Kilixmire. In doing so, you all head down to Julnor, or
Kilmore?
to the Kilnor Ridge City, sorry, in order to climb up the Julnor Mountain, meeting with several individuals as well as a shopkeeper who is currently dealing with problems from one William Mowell, as far as everyone knows, with the exception of exception of Leodon. You all running to a guild, getting some extra help in order to traverse up the side of the mountain of Julnor Mountainside, and decided to lay your heads after long conversations. Throughout the night, during Leodon's watch, you hear something deep within the forest as it comes closer, mechanically stomping. After silently sneaking up behind the rest of the party, a giant mechanical scorpion-like creature appears from the brush as lightning is split from the tail as it just rolls across its metal hide. With that, this is a surprise round, but I need all of you to roll me some initiatives.
Woo!
Here we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
what a start.
13.
Okay. So, keeping track. This is where Bruh is. Right here is Citra. Actually, no, Citra, you're
Yep.
Leodon.
Yep.
So, Bruh, this is where Haley is. This is where Dante is. Uriel, Leodon, Citra. And then this
Fucking
giant
course.
creature. Okay. Get my tracker out here. Okay. So, Citra, what was your roll?
11.
11. All right, Leodon?
Natural 1.
Oh.
Oh. The one person that's awake, natural.
All right. And Dante.
13.
Wait, I didn't say my initiative.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're next, so.
Yeah, okay. 11.
11. Okay. What's your dexterity compared to Citra?
My dexterity is...
Yeah, your score. Your score, not your modifier.
My score is 1. Oh, wait, no, that's modified. I just fell into that. 13.
13? Citra,
15.
what's your... Okay, so you're going to be after Citra.
Mm. Okay. Wait, how she has higher dex than me?
Yep.
Okay.
Monk, baby.
Yep. And then... Haley... Then Uriel. Okay. So, top of the round. Or, no, surprise round right now. So, as this thing comes staring over the three of you, it's going to start its surprise round, and it's going to make 2 attacks onto Haley, onto Dante, and its final attack onto Bruh.
Mm-hmm.
So, please excuse me. So, I'm going to start with Haley. So, that hits on her. She takes 14 points of bludgeoning damage. And also she needs to make DC. She fails. So at this point, Haley is considered grappled by this machine. And next up is you, Dante. Okay, so that's going to be a 18 to your AC, which I know beats. You take 8 points of bludgeoning damage. And also, I need you to make me an athletics or an acrobatics check.
Okay,
We're also exhausted, remember?
Alright, I'm gonna do acrobatics.
Okay.
How does the lady please almost? Woo! 23.
23? Okay.
Yeah.
So as this giant metal claw comes slamming towards you, it hits, but before it could clamp down, you just go whoop right under it, and it ting, as it is now swinging Haley around wildly. She's screaming like crazy. And in this instance, Burra, this is an attack onto you.
Oh boy. Let's see.
All right. That one's gonna be a 19 to hit, which I know hits.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to do. You take 17 points of lightning damage as this giant mechanical stinger comes whipping up over Haley's head, coming down onto you as you feel it hit your body, and you just feel the shock of coming awake and your body finally relaxing before the piercing leans back, as you can still see the electrical arc coming off of Burra and this piercer. With that, the surprise round is over. It is now the top of the round, as this creature now is going to start making its way. Oh. Make its way over to Uriel. Actually, you wanna know what? Put it on top of that stump as it raises its mechanical legs and starts and it's going to make 2 attacks onto Uriel, and then 1 attack onto you, Leodon.
All right.
So, first one's going to be a claw attack. And that hits Uriel. Let's see. So that will do... That does 13 points to Uriel. And Uriel needs to make a check. Natural 20 on Uriel. As this giant claw comes out to him, the second one, Haley still in hand, as it goes and swings and hits him and then just tries to clamp down before using the cane to wedge himself out and then pull himself up and over and just land back onto the ground. Unfortunately, still needs to make that stinger. It's a natural 1. So as the stinger comes up around and over and just once again with that metal cane just as you can hear, and the shock before it can ever make it to him just bats it away before the cane becomes loose and turns into this long threaded bladed cane. He starts whipping it on the ground. That is going to be the end of the Scalender's turn. It is now Haley's turn.
Oh, God. Oh, Haley.
Not Haley.
Let's see. As far as spells go, yeah, no, she's just being carried around. Right now, she is going to use heat metal. As you can see, as she's just trying to wiggle out and around, she smacks her hands together as you see streams of blood come out from those protrusions of the gloves, and then slap it down onto the metal body as it begins to violently heat up. As you see this mechanical body begin to glow from that sweet bluish in the moonlight to now a slightly orangish color. That does. It's quite a bit of damage. Seven. As it begins to glow up, she's realizing she probably made a mistake at this point. DM also. As she's like, oh, hot, 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 hot! And she's
Oh, God.
She's gonna use her check in order to try and get out of the grapple. Okay. As she's like trying to take the metal gloves and pry it open, this thing is obviously and just and manages to just jump out off to the side. Did I ever make that attack on you, Leodon?
No.
I made a mistake. I'm so used to most creatures only doing 2 attacks. I will not retcon that. That would be unfair. All right. And with that, that is going to be the end of Haley's turn. She's prone. Dante, you're up.
Is there a gap between that tree and the bush to the right?
Over here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's gonna cost you half your movement to get up, though. Keep that in mind.
It's gonna cost half my movement, and how far is it away from me? Is it the other half of my movement?
It will get you right between the tree and the bush, but not behind it.
All right, I'm gonna go for it anyways. So I'm gonna use my movement to do that.
Okay.
And shit, should I do it? All right, I'm gonna take a shot at the big metal bad boy.
Okay, go ahead and make a attack.
Okay, so that is an 11.
Unfortunately, no. As you draw back an arrow and you fire it off, it hits and then it just off to the side.
Okay, and then all right, then I'm gonna have Virgil try to make an attack on it. We're gonna see if I'm gonna try to disable its tail at least.
Okay. Grab this. Virgil right there. Okay. And you already have Virgil's stat block, yeah? It should be in extra, and you'll see his actual stat block. Like, you'll see the thing there.
Yeah. Okay, so how do I...
It should technically pop up.
It pops up, but it only has the AC hit points, speed, and notes, and that's it.
You actually have to click it. It'll be like a little side window that'll pop up.
Okay, and then I just click one of the things?
Yeah.
Can I use Eldritch Scream?
Yes.
What?
It is one of it's one of Virgil's abilities.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, do I just roll a d20? Because it's not, there's like no button for me to press.
Oh, so you'll see the hit modifier, so whatever plus that, and then go ahead and roll that d20 for me.
Okay. Okay, so cantrip. Okay, roll 20. 3, and then his modifier is... his modifier is +4, so it'd be a 7.
So,
Also,
unfortunately,
music
no. As this bird, you can see the welling of energy reach its gullet. And as it screeches, this is the first time in doing so, learning of its brand new ability, it goes over the tail and it just hits the side of that tree as it goes. And that's all Virgil can do for now.
No movement?
You can get him to move if you want to.
Okay, can I have you fly him closer to me or to me
Yeah.
if he can reach?
Let's see. I can get him right about there.
Good enough. He's within range for me.
All right. All right, that's going to be the end of Dante's turn. Citra, you're up. Bruh,
Yeah.
you're on deck.
Citra is probably hearing all this, is just on the ground staring and like, what is this? But having seen what I guess Haley had done, she's gonna reverse that effect as well by hitting it with Chill Touch. Here's hoping it'll actually hit, because she's still on the ground, but she can still cast it at least.
That is true. So go ahead and make a ranged spell attack.
21!
I need to double check if you're, because being prone,
Just-
the creature has on it. You have to do it with the disadvantage because you have disadvantage on attack rolls when you're prone.
Then there's a nat 1. Never mind.
Yep.
Wow!
I'm sorry.
No, that's
Yeah.
okay. She's to be fair, she's startled awake, so it's like, ugh.
Yeah. As you're waking up and you roll over, you see this thing, you go, ah! And then try and release a chill touch. As it leaves your hand, it just goes, poof, and then it comes over and poof, hits the back of that tree as you see the leaves slowly crunch away and die at the necrotic energy.
Yeah, so she'll obviously get up in the next shot. So she'll scramble back up backwards, but... So now Leo is no longer attached to a Citra.
Yeah.
But she will back up a bit out of its range, as long as she's out of range.
Yeah, get you up to that tree right there.
I don't think she can do anything else at this point. Yeah, no.
Alright.
The only bonus actions I have, I'd have to be up on top of it, and I don't think she's ready for that yet.
Okay, sounds good. Alright, bruh, you're up. Your yell is on deck.
Alright, so let's see. Okay, so I'm still in back of it.
Yeah. You're still prone.
Ah.
Yeah. But you're behind it.
Okay, and getting up will cause an action.
No, it only costs you half your movement.
Alright, I'm getting up first.
Alright. As you get up.
And I don't need to worry about half a movement because I'm close to the damn thing. First action. I smoke I smoke my grass.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh god.
I suppose there's supposed to be some advantages to it, so gonna use them for once.
Okay. Keep in mind, it is an action to actually consume a consumable.
And I still have one action left, don't I? Do I?
No, you would have a bonus action left over.
Okay, so if I'm gonna... So, in that case, I'm better off attacking it and then smoking it. Okay. Alright, I attack its tail.
Alright. Go ahead and make me some attacks.
Alright. Fuck.
Is he
10.
flanking?
10. Nope.
Is he flanking?
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
Flanking gives you +2, though, unfortunately.
Okay. Do I still get a bonus action, or is that the next level up?
You're still a fighter. You got an extra action, don't you? Level 5. You have.
Yeah.
You have.
If you're a fifth level fighter, you have 2 attacks.
Yeah.
Alright,
you have,
in that case,
you have
I'm
an extra
trying,
attack.
Yeah. Okay. One
Yeah.
more time. 20.
That'll do it.
Okay, and then just gonna do the the D10 plus 3.
Yes.
Damn it! 4.
4. Alright. So, as you try and find one of the sections of the tail, as you swing under it, it catches in one of the segments and you just pull and rip. You can feel the static on your sword coming from this creature as it goes, ooh, okay.
And then smoke the grass as my bonus action.
Alright.
Alright, so that should give me... what were the advantages?
It's on the item.
Oh yeah, roll 1d4, heal them out, roll. Okay. One.
1 point, bud.
You got 1 hit point back.
You
as
gotta
you go.
communicate to Citra, dude.
Yeah, as you pull out your small tiny pipe, you go.
I still feel the pain.
Yeah. However, due to the effects, you ignore all the pain for the next 10 minutes. After which, you will feel every single hit point afterwards.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So you're not losing any hit points now. You'll just be feeling it significantly later.
Jeez.
Wait,
Yep.
wait. So you're saying that I still lose hit points, but
Yeah.
the
So
pain.
keep record of those hit points because it might be
it'll
important.
come all at once later.
Yeah,
Got it.
it'll come all at once in 10 minutes. So unless you heal those hit points back immediately, don't worry about it for now.
Got
All
it.
right. All right, so that's going to be Bro's turn. It is now Uriel. Uriel, he drops the little miniature that he has been keeping in his hand this entire time. As it hits the ground, you can see as the ground begins to bubble black and ooze as it fills this surrounding area, as something crawls up from below it. Just this large black mastiff comes out of the ground. Where is my miniature? Gadam.
A puppy!
I had it. Had it on me.
This was all planned.
Where is... You want to know what? Here. I'll use my... Use it like this for now. As it comes out, up and over, as it's now snapping and gnarling towards this giant mechanical creature. And he goes, attack. So it does. First one is going to be a 17. Second one is going to be a 13. So the first one will hit. And it's going to take 12 points of slashing damage as this blackened ooze-like mastiff just jumps up and claws down onto this thing, trying to rip and shred at the metal in each side. This thing's leg goes... That's gonna be... Alright. And with that, it's going to be the end of his turn, as he now has another creature standing, waiting at the ready for whatever this thing does next. Alright, Leodon, you're up.
Alright, first thing, I'm backing away from it.
Alright, it's gonna get an attack of opportunity on you.
Oh, alright.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Alright.
I just figured since Citra moved away and it didn't attack.
Well, she was behind you.
Ah.
Yeah, you're in its range.
I totally planned
fair.
that to happen.
That's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm a big
All
boy.
right. So, it's gonna be 19 to hit against your AC.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I also need you to make an acrobatic or athletics.
Oh. It's gonna try and grapple me with this?
It does it with its claw attacks.
Shit. Alrighty. Good. That's a 23.
Alright, good. So you only take 9 points of bludgeoning as this thing comes and it hits you before it begins to... You just manage to just slip away while you're still walking backwards. And you're standing stalwart with axes in hand.
Alright.
Go ahead.
I'm going to scrape my axes across each other, and the sparks will in turn ignite the air into an iridescent teal and purple cloud of fire that envelops this thing, and I cast Fairy Fire on it.
Oh, okay.
So it needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Has none of that bonus. I can assure you that.
And I'm going to angle it in a way that it doesn't hit the rest of my party.
Okay. Actually, let me. What is the area of effect on that?
It is I believe it is a 20-foot cube.
20-foot cube. Okay.
If I have to, I'll hit Virgil with it.
You asshole!
But
Well, Virgil's not close by.
Virgil's
Okay.
up in the air.
So that's where that cube would be if it's centered on it. If you
yeah,
manage,
just gonna angle it a little bit further.
yeah, you can get
if I
it
have
right
to hit
out
Virgil,
of it.
I will.
Yeah, Virgil's fine. Virgil's right out of that range.
Yep.
Hey.
Yeah.
Buddy!
All right. Yep.
Got to be careful with those area effects, man.
Did I stutter? I cast Fireball, right?
That's what I love this for. All right, so go ahead and it has an 8 for dexterity, so it fails, obviously.
Fails.
Oh my god.
It is.
Yeah.
It is now glowing with an iridescent azure and purple flame. All attacks against it have advantage, and it emits a light.
Okay.
I believe
Does it
it's
take
bright
any...
light for no damage. It emits a bright light for 5 feet and dim light for an additional 5 feet, I believe.
So we can see this thing for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, you can see it now.
So, as far as what any of you guys can see, it is this multi-legged scorpion creature made of pure metal, glowing a deep orange right now because of the heat metal effect. And it just looks gnarly, nasty, something out of like Mad Max, something like that, but is crazy.
That is wild to think about.
Bonus
All right.
action, hidden step, and I'm going to spend the rest of my movement to move north.
Just vanish in front of Citra.
Peace, dude. This is weird.
Right? Just the end of her tail just poofs up like, okay, bye.
I'll get you right under. Get you right under that.
That's fine.
All right.
Just so it doesn't attack me and ruin the concentration.
Okay.
And that'll
Sounds
be my
good.
turn.
Damn, that is optimized. Okay. It is now the end of Leodon. Top of the round. It is now the Scaladars.
It's now the clicky clacky.
Yeah. As this thing is now still being hurt by the heat metal effect, which will probably not last for long, as it is going to make 3 attacks. 1 on Uriel, 1 on Haley, and 1 on Bruh.
Ah, great.
Yep. You're the only ones in range. Alright, so starting with Haley. It's gonna be 15. That hits, and then she needs to make that check real quick. Unfortunately, no. Haley is back in the grasp of this thing
No!
after just getting out of it on her own. And
Just a point of order. I think if it can't shed the metal that is being heated, it has disadvantage on its attacks.
that is true.
Ooh.
Nope. Still beats her AC.
Fair
Damn.
enough.
Alright.
Yeah.
I tried.
You
Yep,
did.
sorry. Oh god, still beats her AC. So she still gets grappled, and she also takes. Takes another 6 points of damage. 9. And then makes an attack onto Uriel with disadvantage. So 9. That's gonna be 8 in total for him. So as this large claw. Oh, by the way, heat metal effect. She needs to make a concentration for. Sorry about that. Yeah. No, still there. Still maintained.
Damn, Haley.
Yep. Heat metal is still maintained. And then Mrs. Uriel, and now you, bruh.
Great.
With disadvantage. That's going to be 14 to hit, which your AC is an 11.
What? Really?
Yep. All right.
Damn.
A lot of D10s. All right. You're taking 12 points of lightning damage as this burning tail comes whipping around and just once again strikes you on the underbelly, and you can feel the shock impulse running towards the back of your shoulders.
Shit.
Yep. And now it must take heat metal damage.
Now keep in mind, hold those hit points off for later.
That does. Alright. She's been rolling relatively well for that heat metal damage, by the way.
I don't know. I feel I'm gonna die.
You have a
that-
feeling you're gonna be okay.
And that is going to be the end of the giant mechanical. Actually, no. It's gonna start making its way out. Burra, you have an attack of opportunity. Yeah, you have an attack of opportunity. Uriel has an attack of opportunity, and so does his creature. All have an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
Uriel is going to hit.
23.
23. That's also a hit.
Well, you have advantage, so fish for a crit.
Yep.
So that's 12. Also 12.
Wow.
For damage, so damage is 12.
All right.
Deliciousness.
Let's see what Uriel is
taking
going to do.
Haley.
Don't worry, we got this. We're gonna be okay.
Let's see. Da-da-da. Okay.
Take the Haley and run. Fly, you fool.
Not Haley.
2 plus 4. Fortunately, that's not going to be enough. All right. That's all the attack of opportunities. It is now Haley's turn, as she is literally screaming, "Get me out of this thing!"
We're trying!
And she's gonna... She's contemplating on whether or not something like this has blood. Oh, and she's also being hurt by the heat metal effect, now that I'm thinking about it. It's a point of any contention at this point. But she is going to try and make another strength check. Just to escape. Well, she rolled a natural 20.
Wow.
Woo!
The anger, the spite.
She drops to the ground as this thing is clearly trying to comprehend its current situation. But that's going to be the end of Haley's turn. Dante, you're up.
All right, I'm.
And Citra, you're on deck.
Okay.
Shit, what's my range? My shot range.
With a longbow, it's pretty.
Will
you're
a shot reach if I sneak behind a tree?
Uh,
Well, it would be
considering
flanking, wouldn't it?
considering that it's not engaged, but it's not paying attention to you right now.
You have advantage on it as well, so
Yeah.
you would get your sneak attack.
Yeah, you get it. You get your sneak attack no matter what.
All right, then I'm gonna use my sneak attack.
So go ahead and make an attack roll first, and then your sneak attack will account for.
Yeah,
Okay.
your longbow's range is huge. It's like 300 feet maximum.
I think my longbow's 150 actually.
Yeah.
And I got an 18.
That
Roll
will
again.
hit.
Roll again.
Go ahead and roll
again,
damage.
see if you
Just in
crit.
case.
Roll again,
Yeah,
see if you crit.
Okay, alright.
We'll go with the 18.
Okay,
Alright.
do I have to hit or do I have to roll hit again?
No,
Roll
no,
to hit again.
Yeah, roll to hit again and see if you get advantage.
Oh, advantage, sorry.
See
Yeah.
if you get a natural 20.
Woo!
Yeah.
Well, I got 21.
Oh, it was close. It was close.
Damn.
So, it still beats its AC, so go ahead and roll damage and add your sneak attack.
Okay, alright, so the damage is going to be a 9. And then with the sneak attack, it's going to be an additional 13.
Woo!
So, Jade,
Rogues.
how shall you slay?
Yay!
Oh, she get the killing blow. Okay.
I'm going to take out its fucking head.
Yeah, alright. As you, hiding behind one of the bushes under the tree, you can clearly see as it's trying to like limp away, and it's obviously at its own rhythm. You can see parts of its metal starting to just drip away from the pure, melted metal due to the spell. As you pull back, and you see as its rhythm comes up, as it as the heat begins to dissipate, you can see its immediate area is singed and burned. But your enemy lays dead.
Wow, the music ended just in time, too.
Right?
That's for touching Haley!
Yeah, if that thing's down, she's gonna run over to check on Haley. Citra's just like, oh, people hurt. My job. Sorry,
Dante's
my,
also go-
my purpose.
Alright.
So yeah, Citra would run over with her 40 feet of movement, just darts over to help Haley back up.
Yeah, as she's just on the ground, you can see the center of the outfit is burned and singed. You can see some of the skin is slightly bubbled.
Yeah.
Due to the burns and as well as the damage.
Yeah. Citra would be like, I can't fix your outfit, but I can help fix you, and she will cast Cure Wounds on her, level 3 or level 2.
Alright.
10 points of healing spell here.
Okay.
Just lightly holding her hands over, but not like quite touching, doesn't want to aggravate that.
Alright. As you do, as the healing comes over the entire body, you can see many of the burns begin to shrink away and the damage beginning to close. Oh god. I did not think that it would be that dangerous.
I don't think any of us did.
Is everyone okay? As she begins to sit up and
Yeah,
grabbing the abdomen.
Citra should just be like, don't move. I got the rest of this.
Okay.
And
Dante's gonna book it across that field.
Alright. So you run across and you come to a sliding,
baseball slide.
Yeah.
small slide.
Hey, Haley, are you okay? Are you okay, bud? Is anything hurt? Are you okay?
I should be fine.
Yes.
Nothing like, second degree burns and stomach issues.
Citra would look at the rest. Citra would be looking for the rest of her team to see if they were doing alright. How is Buddha doing?
Yeah.
I am doing just fine. A-okay.
Does she believe this?
Make an insight check.
Alright, hold on.
And, Burra, go ahead
It's a
and
nat
make
one. It's a nat one, it's fine. Even at disadvantage, it's a nat one.
He's obviously on his grass, but he looks
Pretty banged up.
he looks banged up in the sense of he was shocked and stabbed twice.
Yeah. Citra would just walk over and be
Yeah.
like, just let me do my job. Just And she'd cast it anyway, and just kind of poke him with her last second level because everybody's looking hurt right now. Alright, and one more. And Buddha's gonna get 10 points of healing damage as well, at least for now.
10 points of healing.
Healing
Alright.
damage.
Sorry.
31.
I listen.
Don't worry, my bullets heal you
Just
for
smack
negative
healing
damage.
into him. Just you take your hand and just smack him across the stomach. There you go, bud.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm a very tired person today. I know what I said.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna take my cloak and I'm gonna put it on Haley as like a comfort blanket, like a shock blanket of kind.
It's well and appreciated.
Thank God you're safe. Thank the goddess you're safe.
Yes.
Damn, you were killing it out there, huh? I didn't know you can heat your hands up like that. Oh my god.
Simple spells and incantations. The bigger question that remains, though, is where did this come from?
I don't know. I wasn't even awake when it came. Leo, you were on watch. What the hell, bud?
Where is Leo? He vanished.
He's still hiding.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're still invisible as you're in the forest.
It lasts like 6 seconds.
Oh, okay. I was
Okay.
like, just vanish
Yeah,
in front of Citra.
I fade back in just like... What? You seen me do that before?
No, I haven't. I was unconscious.
Sounded like a big beast, maybe a bear or something. I figured if we just waited and saw it would walk right past us, but it's clearly not a bear.
No.
I'm not entirely sure what that thing is.
It almost looks like what we dealt with in the dunes, just metal?
Dante's gonna get up and walk over towards the dead body of this taken apart body of whatever the hell this thing we killed. As
it begins to cool down, with the metal obviously oxidizing because of the heat, as some of the flakes begin to... It's obviously mechanical. Whatever the hell could make something like this obviously has skills in doing so. If it comes to mind to you, Leodon, that the Black File did detail that the Alchemist has certain professionalities in creating automata. And this is bigger than anything anyone has ever conceptualized.
I think this was our welcoming present from our goal.
Or maybe it's just guarding? Like, doing rounds, maybe? How would they know we were already here?
do you think the wizard tipped her off?
Hard to tell.
Can I do an investigation?
Sure.
On, like, anything that's inside of this?
Yeah, sure. What's your...
Okay, I got you.
You have a 13. Here's what I can tell you on the upfront. If you want to go further, I'll let you roll for it. But
Okay.
Here's what you can tell on the upfront as you're kind of looking over it, and this is your passive investigation.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you're getting a general overlook of this entire thing, being made of metal, whatever is generating its electricity must be on the inside. But on one of the legs, as you're kind of overlooking the entire thing, you see a serial code of common numbers. 012616.
Okay. 16. Scorpion serial code.
Can I try something with the scorpion?
Sure. What would you like to... Well, actually, first, let me finish up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And so pretty much, you pull out the arrow that you used on this thing, and it's obviously very well made, and somebody went through the effort of putting this together in an expert manner, and it would have taken them probably months in order to create something like this. It could take an entire team of Tharum scholars months to make this, but this thing looks expertly made if it's made by one person.
Alright, I'd like to roll for a further investigation.
Okay.
And that's a 5.
Unfortunately, no. That's as much as you managed to get out of it. But for what it might be worth, if you attempt to try and pry whatever this thing is open, you might be able to find something inside of it that might be worth a value to you.
Okay. Who's got the highest strength here?
Leo, I think.
That'd probably be me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leo, help me open this thing. I'm gonna find out what's
All right.
inside of it.
Right, but be careful. We don't know what else this thing has in store.
Yeah. In the meantime, I think Citra would take the long scarf thing on the end of her staff and take it off and gently wrap it around Haley's middle, so at least that's covered.
Before even doing that, she's spending time fixing the outfit.
Oh, she's mending? Okay.
Yeah,
I just
she's
didn't know if that's what
mending
she
the
should do.
outfit. Yeah, she's a magical woman.
That is true, but
Yeah.
Citra's is like, are you sure? Does that look
No,
bad?
it's fine. It's fine. To be quite honest, I could actually take care of this in a few moments. I just need to catch my breath.
Okay.
All right. So Leodon, you go to pry this thing open. Go ahead and make me a strength check.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Then, let's see.
Aren't we
I'll
at
say
a-
with your passive survival, you'll probably end up finding it if you manage to make the strength check.
Alrighty.
Aren't we at a disadvantage right now?
Her.
Exhaustion.
Disadvantage on
That's
ability
true.
checks.
I am.
That's true.
Well, this is this
Okay.
an ability check? Strength?
Strength is an ability.
Oh, an ability. Yes, not abilities and skills. Yes. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let's try that again. Okay, still good. Soft 20.
Sorry,
Soft 20? You completely frustrated with this whole scenario as you take one of your hatchets and you just find one thing that could possibly give. This thing is obviously now softened due to, the metal being rapidly heated and then slowly cooled, so the metal is softer than usual. As you hear the metal begin to creak, you can hear rivets being popped as and under it you see what is a mechanical array of gear shafts, several different mechanical pieces that help drive this thing up to its core, with what looks like to be this small electric blue ball that is just currently just like shifting and waning at certain points before it comes to a slight stop. And then with your general survival, you can tell how to not only avoid being damaged by this thing, but also how to handle it carefully. As you go in and you just scoop your hands properly through some of the wiring before disconnecting some of these connections, and you can see as the body becomes even more. And as you pull out this small orb, it's just filled with electrical energy.
This wouldn't be the orb we were looking for the dude back out in the dunes, would it?
The orb.
Is that
Given
a
the
core?
Given the description of this thing, it is not a core of Arcanum.
Got it.
Aww.
Yeah.
Damn. It was spherical. I thought maybe.
A Core of Arcanum is more... It has multi surfaces that define its look, and it's massive.
Okay.
It's a big boy.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. This is called a Solacrum. These things come from creatures that are powered by magic. So think of dragons, behirs, remorazes. These creatures have something like this inside of all of them. And this is what gives them their magical properties. This one is obviously more lightning damage, and it's lightning charged. So you now have a core of this.
Maybe our magic users can use this one.
Sorry, this is Fundamentium. Sorry. Fundamentium.
Fundamentium.
Yeah.
Fun!
Is it possible I can do the thing?
Yes, what do you want to do?
Do your thing.
I want to see if I could break some pieces of the pieces of the metal from the thing, and see if I can scatter it across my outfit. It's like a sort of makeshift armor.
It takes a certain level of skill to hand make personal armor, but the pieces would not be difficult for you. Just go ahead and make me a... What's your survival?
Sleight of hand.
No, survival would be more antiquated. You, however, with your passive survival, as you carefully kind of pick out pieces that would best fit your physique, you manage to just take some of the steel and just... And you can see where a lot of the weaker riveteds, because in comparison to Leodon's situation where this very important piece is protected by, very heavily riveted, you going through the tail pieces, just pulling them off and, bending them off. And you manage to get enough pieces where it might be possible in order for you to seek a blacksmith in order to produce armor later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my inventory. What should I call it?
Let's see. What is this?
Custom item.
This is, I will call it, this will be Scalander Steel. Yeah. Just,
How you spell it?
SCALALDAR.
DAR.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scalander
Custom
Steel.
item.
Yeah, and should you wish to turn that over to probably a blacksmith, you might or might not get some of the magical properties from this thing. It's a roll of the dice. I'll let you know when you go see one of the Uger twins, or perhaps even Olivier, should you so decide.
Got it.
All right. So yeah, you guys are tearing this thing apart.
Gotta loot it.
Yeah.
Is Butter gonna keep standing, or is he okay? Because I don't know how that grass stuff works. And I'm concerned.
By the way,
Did that hit
it's,
point hit you?
Yeah, it's gonna hit at this point where you are feeling the initial electric shocks from the second attack, and you can feel all your muscles beginning to seize and then slightly relax. Whatever you healed, you still have, but whatever damage you had taken earlier, do the math.
Yeah, no, Citra has been eyeballing Buddha this whole time, unsure of how he actually is, even after the 10 points. She's just like, please be alive. Please, God, please just stay alive.
Well, that was fun.
I am still very confused by your idea of fun, but as long as you're still standing.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Is Uriel
That's why you should always smoke grass. That's why you should always smoke weed. You want some?
No, thank you.
Any which way, Uriel, currently over in his little area, as far as everyone but Citra would notice, he is currently wrapping his hand around that Mazdiv as it just right back into his small little thing before he pockets it.
Yeah, I think at that point Citra would remember they have another person with them and just kind of like quickly walk over and be like, are you okay? Do you also need healing?
Oh no, I'm perfectly fine. Lo-fi! I was about to say banjo.
Sorry,
Lo-fi.
it's the neighbor's dog, so he must sing the song of his people.
Fair enough. Oh no, I'm absolutely fine. I was not expecting this particular level of danger, but...
To be fair, I didn't expect a giant mechanical creature in a mountainside.
It is quite odd. I hadn't run into something like this when I first came here. But... I'm glad all of you were here just in case.
What time is it, by the way, for them? Since this did happen at night.
It's well into, 2 a.m.
Okay, with that said, Citra, look around. Everyone seems to be okay. She's like, I would suggest we maybe put ourselves back down and to try and sleep. Because I feel like it's just going to keep getting rougher from here if that's our first indication of this trip.
I think we need to hide better.
Uh-huh. Citra's really tired because she had just gotten off her own shift. And handed it over to Leo.
Great.
You didn't take a shift.
No, I did.
No, you
I
meditated.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Right.
I also didn't take a shift.
She didn't
yet.
sleep. She didn't sleep.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. She didn't sleep.
Yeah.
She tired.
All right. So, do you guys wish to stay at camp for the rest of the night and prepare for the next morning?
I would like to get my spells back after that one. And get rid of exhaustion.
All right. As the darkness once again reclaims this area, all of you trying your best to lay back down and sleep. Uriel restarting the fire and sitting again. Who wishes to take the next watch?
I'm gonna take next watch.
Okay.
Because it's my turn anyway.
Alright.
So I'm gonna send Virgil out to do a farther range of watch.
Alright. What's his perception?
His perception...
What's his pluses on that?
Let me see. So he has a keen sight, so it gives him an advantage on perception checks.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see, where does it say? Wisdom. So he has a 15 with a +2 modifier.
Okay. Alright. You send Virgil to the far out of the night, guided by the Dusk Mother. As you sit by the fire, as it begins to reignite and glow, you now sit across from a untired Uriel. So he begins to look back into the fire.
Can I do another perception check on him? This guy's odd.
Make an insight.
Insight check. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Dusk Mother, please help us. Hell yeah, 23. We're finally gonna find out what's up with him. Fuck. No, I don't want
Papers
that.
shuffle.
Stop that.
Please excuse
Someone
me.
needs to put like a little subtitle, ominous paper shuffles.
Yeah. The entire figure of Uriel is perpetually odd. The white hair, the color of the eyes, the tattoos, the figure that he keeps in hand and just constantly thinking while tapping on the cane. His lost mind is something that kind of feels false in a way. You can definitely tell he's hiding something, but it's almost as if like hiding something like you. You can see the thoughts are almost as if, just by position, just by the way he kind of handles himself, he's unknowingly a part of something. You just don't know what. But he comes off so fragmented. It's strange to see something like this. He's definitely not normal. Not like a normal human being.
Hasn't slept. Have you slept at all, Uriel?
I slept before we came here. Before you found me.
Back at the guild?
Precisely. Sleep does not come naturally to me, though. When I do, I always end up somewhere else. This is one of very few times where I've always been exactly where I was supposed to be.
Citra's just lightly snoring in the background.
Yeah.
She's gone.
How often does this happen, Uriel? How often do you end up somewhere you're not supposed to be?
Pretty often. My last memory, before I woke up, was heading to a city. And then I was back at my favorite mountaintop. I don't know why I was heading there.
Do you know which city it was?
It was the one to the north.
The Thalian Cliffs?
No. Near the Kayan border. The capital.
Near the capital.
Yes.
Uriel? Dante's gonna change his face to fuck, what's his name?
Samael?
Samael. I'm gonna change my face to Samael. Uriel, have you seen this face before?
He stares at it. You can see its first curiosity, then a scowl. I have seen that face before.
Was it in passing, or did he speak to you?
He spoke to me. I remember him. A polite man. He would often tell me that there are times where I'll be needed. We speak often. But he also has a level of cruelty that is hiding beneath his own face. Something else like a demon. I would know much about them.
Uriel, I think you're being used. I think you're being used for something you don't quite understand is happening.
See, the scowl begins to relax a bit. My relationship with him is very complicated. I acknowledge that. But I understand that he also gives purpose in a way. Do you hate this person?
Dante's gonna get flashbacks of the children gripping their mothers that been turned to stone in the Valfor, near the Valfor Congress. And he's gonna start gripping the grass under him. As far as it seems now, yeah. I do. But I need to find out why. I need to find out why... Why innocents? Why children? Why almost the orphanage? He didn't even get the Congress. So, for the time being, there's hatred. But it's not blind. It's not vengeful. It's just answers. And possibly a solution to its undoing.
Perhaps you'll end up speaking with him at some point. If you haven't met him already. He has something much like you. And it's very rare for someone to have that kind of skill. To change your face whenever you please. But even in the terms of fate, if you haven't met him already, eventually he'll come. I know he will.
Well, first I'd rather meet Helen first. She's the one who made the thing that turned those kids to stone. Hopefully she has the solution to unturn them.
I see. Well, my initial job here was to be a guide. Perhaps I'll stick around just a little while longer to see what happens next, should you need my assistance.
We may need your assistance. But unfortunately, with this fade in, fade out that you go through, I don't know what's going to happen when you fade out again.
Thinking about it, he nods, and he just puts his chin under his hands on top of his cane and thinks, staring deeply into the fire. As the rest of the night continues, all of you gaining your rest, your exhaustion is over.
Yay.
You regain all your abilities. Go ahead and take your long rest. As the new day begins, take your rations or whatever food that you wish to have first thing in the morning. And you set off onto the next leg of finding the stronghold, to which Virgil has actually found something, Dante. But first, we're going to take a break.
Yeah. I'm sad someone got the insight roll.
Well, we were waiting for my turn.
So for
No.
the long rest, the HP is restored as well?
Yes.
Alright, just want to make
Yeah.
sure. I'll be right
Yeah.
back.
Alrighty.
funny long
All right.
rest
So
button.
we're gonna take a quick 10-minute break. We're gonna
Excuse me.
and then we will be right back. Enjoy some art. We'll see you then. PP time. See you guys in 10 minutes. we're back.
Hello.
And
Hello.
we're back.
Yes.
For more D.
For all you podcast, for all you
all tone
podcast,
deaf.
Yeah.
or
All right.
for all you podcast listeners out there, that was a short, brief moment for you.
Yep.
That was a blip away.
Yeah, you guys only had to wait a minute.
Probably
All
heard
right.
one of our voices.
So, first off, thank you.
Chumby!
So, where we had last left off. After a harrowing encounter with a mechanical scorpion,
Banjo!
and finally getting a restful sleep after this encounter, as well as getting more answers out of, strangely, Uriel, seemingly, as far as Dante can comprehend, has been put in the path of all of you due to a Samuel Ishgard. After which, you guys begin to traverse further up the Julnar mountainside. And Dante, you manage to finally see Virgil as he returns towards you after flying long and actually rolling relatively high for his perception.
Ooh.
So, he has found something, and he is pointing you in a direction which can lead you somewhere, as he does not seemingly communicate in common in most cases, but he does seemingly have a headway for what you're looking for. At this, I need you all to go ahead and make me the Constitution check as the air gets thinner and the temperature begins to lower as you are now beginning to trudge through snow and the mountainside.
Oh. Oh no, Citra, no. Hold on. I can fix this. Hold on.
Haley gets a 14, so she fails.
I've got a 15.
Natural 20.
Okay.
Citra's gonna have to take up on climbing on Leo because she got a
3.
10. You got a what now?
Natural
3.
20.
Okay. So, Burra, you succeed. Dante, you barely succeed.
Oh,
Leodon?
he got a 3.
3.
You fail, and Citra, you also fail. Haley fails. And Uriel succeeds. Those of you that failed,
Was it a
gain
saving
a
throw
point
or
of
a check?
exhaustion.
I'm sorry, was it a saving throw or a check?
It was a saving throw.
Okay, hold on. I can fix this.
Oh.
I can fix this. Sorry. I misread it. I apologize. 2d4. Okay. I can do this.
Oh, your favorite of the gods.
Yes. Oh god, it's an 18.
Okay, Citra, you succeed as trying to stick by Leodon as well you can.
She's hiding behind him so the wind blasts are missing her.
Yeah. As the cold winds come down, you begin to enter what looks like to be this small area of what looks like to be an abandoned mining town. As you do, you see what looks like to be this massive broken stone building in the center of it. Nothing inside any of these buildings whatsoever. Leodon, even with your passive perception, you can definitely tell this place is gone. Nobody has lived here for well into decades. But what is strange to you, from what you can perceive, and I will take note to Dante. Yeah, Leodon and Dante. Leodon, what you generally can see is that nobody's lived here. Dante, passively, what you can tell with investigation. As you begin to kind of inspect the entirety of this area, and you can tell these places somewhat have been used. There are multiple footsteps. However, there are small, tiny ones that are very light and have not sunken into the ground, and others that look like they're just pure beefs of points, almost as if they're either flat completely or they have sharp ends that just across the entirety of the ground, even on some of these buildings. This place is feeling like it's been used recently, but not lived in. But this stone tower kind of comes off as something might be in there.
Well, the footsteps for the scorpion's definitely here. But now there's 2 other footsteps we gotta worry about.
2 others?
Yeah, you see here, there's these big ones right here, and then there's these really tiny ones right here.
Well, in comparison, I guess, to the big one anyway.
Mm-hmm.
As you get closer towards the stone tower, you notice on several different intersections, you can also see there are things that are being rolled and dragged that obviously has not been overtaken by the snow recently. You can tell the divots just by the way they look. Leodon, with pure survival alone, it comes off as if you can tell just based off of how the ground is and what's been displaced, whatever has either been captured, killed, or transported here, that they all lead to that tower.
Gone.
Leo just follows the tracks with his eyes and then just points. Seems like there's stuff going up there.
Well, if this is also another scorpion, maybe we found its maker?
Maybe. Or maybe somebody working with her.
Is there a way to get in the tower, or is it just pure stone?
It's stone, but it does have what looks like to be 2 hardy steel doors that preside over it, and
Is
you're not exactly sure. The window at its closest height to the ground is somewhere 40 feet into the air.
Okay. I'm gonna send Virgil up to go take a look through the window.
Okay. As he makes his way up there, in regards to his last roll, as he flies by and kind of looks out towards the window, a moment passes before the window as Virgil disappears in bluish light and the window.
Citra's in shock, like, okay.
Buddy?
Oh,
Maybe we shouldn't approach the tower? I mean, I can run pretty fast, but that was really quick.
Is Virgil back in the bracelet? Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna pet the bracelet. Oh my god, buddy.
Is
Yeah,
Oh
Virgil
my god,
okay?
I'm so sorry.
Is Virgil okay?
Virgil's fine. Just got a little messed up is all.
if you read his... Oh.
Do I have that psychic link with him?
Yeah, if you read his stat block, he can't physically be killed. It's one of
don't know that.
his... Yeah.
I still get worried about him.
That still hurts.
You raise your hand into the air, Virgil...
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry.
Clearly, they have defenses.
Some pretty strong ones, too.
I'm just gonna take a moment to sniff the air a little bit and use my detect magic.
Sure. Let's see here. Some descriptions. That's for you. So, obviously, just in general, you could tell that there is magic that does emanate in this immediate area. Specifically, it billows out that tower. The smell comes off as like metal. And it has a very chemical-like smell to it. Definitely something like evocation and forms of transmutation, as well as some forms of enchantment. Maybe even illusion as well. It seems like whoever the practitioner is to this tower does not stop simply at one school of magic.
I can run really quick and see if I can get to the base of this thing. I'd imagine it can't just aim at it the bottom, unless there's someone actually in there doing that.
There might be more defenses than just the strange blue light.
Well, the strange blue light was Virgil, right?
Yeah. The burst of energy almost comes off like,
Wait,
I don't know, some kind of cannon.
how far away are we from the tower itself, like the door?
You're about 130-ish feet from the door. You guys saw as Virgil just went up there, tried to peek around, and obviously whatever... And keep in mind, Virgil being a semi-translucent blue hawk could come off as disturbing.
Yeah. The reason I ask is that Citra is trying to figure out a way to approach this without causing a fight, so she was going to try to use Mage Hand to simply knock on the door.
I mean, you could get as close as you possibly can before something might happen. You're not exactly sure. You just know whatever was coming towards that window could potentially be its end.
So, my question is there anything scattered about before the tower that Citra can get close enough but still hide behind?
I mean, there's the obvious, like, from what you can immediately tell around this tower is that it's also, like, filled with metal and parts and various other, seem to be discardments of
just
whatever is not needed. It gets placed out in the front, but just enough so where there's a space to walk.
Yeah,
it almost comes off like a junkyard, if that makes sense.
Citra's just trying to find cover to knock on the door, but like not get shot, but also come across as, hey, we're not here to fight. I'm clearly knocking on your door and giving you the respect of I'm trying to get your attention.
Okay. If you're just wanting to sneak up, go ahead and make me a stealth check.
Oh, buddy, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, lordy, 21.
Nice.
Okay, 21.
21. So, like, without really saying much to the group, she just, I'm gonna go knock on the door, and just goes.
All right. As you being able to blend in with the snow the best, being
She
a
is
blue and white tiefling. Yeah. You move through the snow and even some parts where it might be best for you to blend in before you reach what is one of these junk piles to this front door. And it's now about 10, 15 feet away from where you could potentially cast Mage Hand.
Well, Mage Hand is 30 feet.
Okay.
So she would cast it to try and, like, hello? We're not, we just want to talk.
As you knock and you say this, a few moments pass before you can definitely tell, Leodon, illusion magic begins to fill the air as out, almost like fading through the door, what is this image of a short halfling woman with what is this somewhat bob cut of black hair, these large spectacles, and this very well adorned outfit as it approaches out to the front door.
And Citra would pop her head around the corner and just, like, wave, hello.
It doesn't seem to be able to detect exactly where
she doesn't know
you
this.
are.
This is Citra.
Yeah. As it's kind of staring out just randomly. And what could possibly be anybody doing up here if not to try to kill me?
Well, we came to talk and also try to help that little tiefling girl you've been giving that medicine to.
Oh. The child.
Yep.
As purposeful as I would find it to go down this side of the mountain, unfortunately, due to prior circumstances, I cannot.
We can.
In fact, I refuse to leave here.
Okay. But we can.
If that is all, as you see the image begins to turn and start walking back into...
Please, can we
The
just...
building.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on.
It just stops.
Citra's just big old bright eyes like, could we please come in and talk? Please, I mean it. She has persuasion. She could try.
Kind of shrug of the shoulders and turns around.
Intimidation.
Citra, no. Citra's up front with this. Citra is giving her the Puss in Boots stare down. Just like, please.
As this image is trying to, like, replicate to whatever it's trying to acknowledge.
We came all this way.
I am sorry. I do not wish for anyone to enter.
Intimidation.
I'm currently busy with experimentations.
Intimidation.
You can't intimidate who's not there.
I can clearly tell this is an illusion, right?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
fun. Can't. I mean,
Can Dante just like run up? He's gonna like shuffle, like he's like half like stumbling, half trying to like reach into his like bag. He's
yeah,
like, wait, hold on. Is this yours? And he's gonna pull out the Gorgon's blood.
I have no idea what you're holding in front of me.
Gorgon's blood? Is this yours?
That's sick. It was one of my designs, yes. I had, unfortunately, designed something for someone who I thought was initially going to use it in a more respectable manner. Little did I realize that it was used to hurt those with unintended properties.
Yeah,
And this would not have been the first time, as I am relatively sure the lot of you have been sent up here by some entity for some reason. I am not coming down this mountain. I am not leaving this tower.
I'm not asking you to leave. I'm asking for an antidote.
We're asking for help.
It would not be impossible to create something like that. But once again, due to prior circumstances, I can't have anybody enter, and I intend to not leave.
I mean, your buddy in the observatory sent us here.
Hashem sent you.
Mm-hmm. Really nice furbolg.
He's one of very few that I can respect nowadays.
Do you just naturally have a stick up your butt?
Citra is just tense and looks over her shoulder and stares at him down like, stop!
Oh no, not the rolls.
She having a slight distaste towards you, Bura.
Yeah, that's the story of my life.
Can I use persuasion?
I'm gonna say, given the fact that you guys have been trying relatively well, I am going to have Citra lead persuasion because she was the first one to speak. But because you do have persuasion as a skill, Citra will get help from you, and Citra will roll with advantage.
Yay!
Okay.
Yeah. So, in case you guys may not know, that is a home rule I actually have.
24!
Two people who have the same exact skill can help one another to get a better roll.
Ooh, okay, cool
Yeah.
beans. Note that for later. So she got a total of 19 plus 5, so it gives me a 24.
If all of you were sent here by Hashem, perhaps all of you can also assist me with testing my experiments. Due to the unfortunates of the circumstances, I am going to have to ask you to entertain the thought.
Citra would look at the rest of the group and hold up her hands like,
What type of experiments?
You're not gonna, probe me or something, right?
Citra does not know what this means. Or what it might entail, so.
Wait until you're older.
She's
It's
older than
nothing
you.
of
Wait until you're older.
It's nothing of permanence in the sense of wanting to actually hurt you. Unfortunately, I have developed several different defense systems which are necessary, and due to my current situation, I cannot come down this tower because of them.
So you're
So
on the
You're
Nice.
verge-
stuck.
I wouldn't say stuck, just I'm well and comfortable enough to survive here for the rest of my days.
you're stuck.
So you build these devices to try to protect you, but it sounds like they backfired on you. Is that correct?
Incorrect. I built them so that way anybody that wanted to come here to find any of my more persuasive inventions would find themselves sooner dead than alive.
Oh.
This is not a tower that was meant to live in. This is my tomb.
Oh.
I mean,
Well, unfortunately, your first failsafe failed. Seeing here, sorry, he's gonna look on his hand because he wrote it on his hand. Scorpion serial code 012616. Unfortunately, was a bust.
Broad pulls out the metal from the scorpion out from his inventory and then start waving it.
Ah. I suppose that one needs more oomph, but yes, it was a scouting drone developed in order to protect the tower, just in case.
Mm. Leah, you want to give her back her core?
I have this lightning ball.
Ah, yes, the Fundamentium. You can keep it if you beat it. It's not that I care much for it anyways.
Why would you want to keep it? Is there something valuable that we can use this for?
Of course, it's used for all sorts of things, creating magical weapons, items, automata.
Well, can we actually...
Wait, magic sword? Magic sword?
You
magic
have
I
sword?
have one.
I want more magic swords, okay?
Well, we'll focus on this at another time. My next question is, can we actually approach this tower without getting hurt?
You can approach the tower without exactly getting hurt. It's everything else inside of it might seem a bit more...
Dangerous?
Yes.
So that's the test you were talking about?
Yes, my experiments.
So you want us to fight your experiments to get up the tower?
If it would provide you best, yes.
Do you promise not to kill us?
Well, they're not exactly doing it, it's the defense system. Right?
Correct. Each level, consisting of 3 before the 4th floor, is designed in order to prevent either the idiotic or those without comprehension or intention to face severe challenges.
Okay.
Severe.
Oh, wait. Okay. Can we sweeten the deal a little bit? You're able to make those like metal puppet robot whatever you call things, right?
Yes, but it takes months.
Can you make a cat?
Dante's gonna fall to the floor laughing his ass off.
Citra is staring at Buddha, just saying, what just came out of your mouth?
I seem to scare cats, so
Then why would you think a mechanical one would do better?
Because a mechanical one? Well, because it's mechanical and it has no fear. And I was thinking that we can outfit it with flamethrowers, katanas,
I'm going to stop you there. You're free to enter the tower at your own risk. Should you make it to the top floor, we can further have this discussion.
Before starts running off.
As she just waves her hand a couple of times, you hear the giant metal doors.
Citra would be looking at to the 2 extras that are on the team. What, just you guys ready for this, or would you rather?
Come on, let's hurry up so I can get my mechanical cat.
Well, Bruh's about to set off all the traps, so that's gonna be good for us.
Bro is hopping up and down like he's hopped up on sugar.
Alright. So Haley, this is the best we're gonna get right now. Maybe we can strike a deal, but for right now, this is what we're gonna have to do.
What makes this more complicated is that you haven't told Helen that you're supposed to, capture her.
Well, I figure it'd be
Well,
better
we'll
off to
figure that
just
out once
talk
we get to
her.
We
there.
generally don't tell people we're going to capture that we're about to capture them.
We're not. We can work something out. Yeah, maybe.
So long
If
as
they
we're
come
nice about
willingly.
this,
It
If they
doesn't.
come
It doesn't.
willingly, that's even better.
we have to.
But
We
first,
have to
we have.
really talk about this.
Yeah. First, we have to get up these levels. Next, we can think about that later.
Very well. I personally don't think I have any experience of climbing a wizard's tower, but I suppose I can do my best. And Uriel, as he begins to kind of wane a bit, I think I'll stay outside for now.
You gonna be okay in the weather like this?
I'm not too unfamiliar with it.
Oh, that's true.
Dante's gonna look at him. Is there any precautions I need to take, Uriel?
I don't know.
Okay. Are you okay with being tied up temporarily?
I don't think so. I'm not into that sort of thing.
Of course you're not. Uriel, I know... I trust this Uriel. I don't know what's gonna happen when other Uriel happens. And if you're already starting to fade now, that leaves us very little time to work with. Can I use persuasion to ask him to just go down the mountain a little bit? For the time being.
Considering that his job is already done, and whilst he was willing to kind of go this far, he kind of just nods his head a bit. Passive persuasion goes.
Mm-hmm. Haley, his job's done. Gotta give him the money.
Yeah, as she's like, yes, as she pulls out the gold pouch and hands it to him. Be well. Yeah. He begins to kind of thank you all, and then slowly turns and begins to walk out of the abandoned town.
Citra
Thank
just
you,
approaches.
Uriel! Sorry, say it again, Citra.
No, I was just say Citra's just approaching the door very cautiously while everyone's doing that. She's not stepping inside, but she's looking around at it like, okay, I don't see anything that's gonna kill me right now.
As all of you begin to prepare to enter, or anything else in particular, as the image of Helen Strauss-Lani, or the Alchemist, goes, is beginning to slightly fade and wane a bit. Best of luck to all of you. I did make these explicitly tough for a reason. See you at the top. And she just waves, and the image fades.
Well, I guess no time like the present.
Alright, well, Burrow's already in there.
No, I think he's just jumping around.
Oh, he's jumping around.
No,
okay.
he's gone. He's gone.
He's gone, alright.
It's just an outline of where he was.
Alright, cool. Alright,
You can see him. You can see him spreading across the horizon.
Well, Citra's at the door, so...
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just gonna take a step behind you, Leo. Go ahead.
You're the rogue, though.
I've still got my detect magic on, so.
Okay.
I mean, as far as like anything with this door, it was initially magically locked, now unlocked. And the door is free to push open.
Alright, Citra pushes it open with her staff, like, okay. Honk. Is there any light?
There is light, definitely.
Okay.
Not just only from the outside, but also inside are these yellowish sconces that kind of line the entirety of the area. Across this main foyer hall, there's another set of doors about 15 feet in front of you that are also made of pure metal, and doesn't give any details as to what is beyond them.
Well, I guess we go forward?
We go forward. But Leo stays in front of me.
Alright. As all five of you enter, begin making your way into the tower of Helen Strauss-Lani, the Alchemist. As you all do, the doors slowly, once again, close, and you can hear the locks as they twist and clatter into place. As you enter through the first door, you are met with what looks like to be this strange creature standing several feet high, is just billowing with frost on it, and obviously chained to the floor. And it goes fresh meat.
Oh, God.
Funny.
The doors
Funny,
close
that's gonna
behind
be you in a few minutes.
Yeah. The doors close behind all of you. You hear over what seemingly is almost like the replication of loudspeakers. The first experiment in your first challenge. Kill the unkillable. This experiment was brought to me by none other than Fulcrum Acquisitions Experiment 06042 or 19. This one in particular took a little bit more persuasive manners in order to gather, and also took quite a bit of effort to bring here. As this creature looking up, I wish to return back to the mountains, you wench! Please mind his manners. Now, may the experiment begin. As the chains on the floor begin to as the chains begin to slowly drop and fall from the shoulders. And he begins to deeply smile. With that, even with what time we do have, if I have to stop midway, we're still gonna roll for initiative.
Ooh.
Alright.
Excuse me.
Alright, our Dusk Mother. Woo! 25.
Yeah. Alright.
Wow, an 18
Excuse
this
me.
time.
23.
Let's see. I'm gonna go.
Oy,
I almost thought that was the Krampus again, and I was like, no!
No. I got him behind over here. Still haven't gotten an address to mail him out. So, as this thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Oy vey.
All right. Go for a little rush guy first. Haley next. All right. So, going across the table, Citra.
18.
Blue. Okay.
Dang it, Discord.
Yep. No, you're fine. All right, Leodon.
14.
All right. Dante.
25.
25?
25.
Damn, top of the round. And Burra.
23.
Damn,
We rolled
okay.
some good ones.
All right. Hey, keep in mind, you guys, Leodon and Haley both have a point of exhaustion. So I'm gonna mark that. X and then X.
I had a strong feeling I didn't want the
Okay.
exhaustion.
So, that noted. Dante, you're up. Burra, you're on deck.
Got it.
Dante, you're here. Burra, you're here. Citra, you are here. Leodon, you're here. And Haley is here.
Okay, so I entered behind Leo. So I was behind Leo this whole time, so can I use that as a sneak attack?
I'll say if you were behind Leodon.
Yeah, I was behind Leo the whole
you.
time, because he's tall.
Yeah.
I am
big.
tall, but I am still a medium-sized creature.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I just figured I'd use your height as an advantage for sneak attack.
Keep in mind, you are one of the very few subclasses that allow you to use sneak attack if you are, if you're up close to this thing, but you're a ranged fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to do a sneak attack shot. I'm gonna see if I can take out one of its knees.
Unfortunately, because he is not engaged with anyone else, you don't get your sneak attack just yet.
Ah, okay.
If you
Yeah.
you can use your cunning action to use steady aim.
I did not go with steady aim.
Cutting action is a bonus action, which then
Oh.
gives you advantage. Yeah.
Cunning.
Yeah.
Oh, cunning action.
The only you sacrifice your movement though, so you have to just remain still for the entire turn, but you do get advantage on the attack.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. All right. So I'll do my cunning action, and then okay, our Dusk Mother, please help us. I rolled a 18 to hit.
You have advantage.
Huh?
You have
You
You
do
have
have-
advantage, so roll
You have
again.
advantage because
Okay,
of steady
then.
aim. Yep. You just can't physically move.
18 again.
18. All right, that'll
Exactly
hit.
the same.
All right, and he is going to take 11 points of piercing damage.
And go ahead and roll your. Go ahead and roll. Excuse me. Go ahead and roll your sneak attack as well.
Okay. He's gonna take an additional 8.
Okay. Okay. As you pull back, as you're taking a knee and just staying your aim, you're expending all your movement for this one shot as it into the knee. Oh. And as he pulls it out, you notice something. The wound is not bleeding. All right. And that's what you noticed, Leodon, because you have the highest passive.
And now I'm gonna use Virgil.
Ah, yes.
Taking Virgil. Let me see his skills. I'm gonna have him do Eldritch Scream.
Okay. So it's a d20 plus any of the modifiers that include it.
Okay, so 20. Nope. Okay, so 11, and my modifier is. So it's a 15 to hit.
That just hits.
All right, and then for... Okay, 1d2. So that is going to be 9 points of damage.
All right. Indeed. As Virgil comes swooping out from the bracelet and kind of comes up and over as it flaps its wings, as it echoes into the room, it hits this thing's head and its ears are ringing. Loud birdie! It is angry. All right, that's gonna be Dante's turn. Bruh, you're up. And
Nice.
Citra, you're on deck.
Okay.
Alright, so this thing doesn't like loud noises, huh?
It didn't like that it's actually getting hurt.
Oh, in that case, bro sprains it and attacks it.
All right.
Simple, just simple. Okay, 1. 12. 12.
12? Nope. As the sword comes down and over, it hits the patchwork armor as it's just too big and too thick of a hide.
18.
That will hit.
Mm-hmm.
The
And
second
damage.
slash comes up and over as you cut across what is one of the openings on its chest.
11 points of damage.
All right. Banjo, what'd I say? All right. As the cut goes into the clavicle and runs through, Burra, being this up close to the creature, you notice that there is no blood immediately coming out. There's obviously blood on the sword, but it's not spraying out like it usually would.
Ah, that's interesting.
And you can see the ugly face as it's staring you down. It's angry with you, more specifically, aside from the bird. All right. That being said, Burra, it's the end of your turn.
End of my turn.
All right, Citra, you're up.
Alright, Citra
This
heard
creature-
the term kill the unkillable. She's gonna look around the room right now to see if there's anything different going on too besides the big guy in the center.
Okay, make. Let's see.
She felt, with the way she explained things are not gonna be simply straightforward. This is gonna be complicated.
You can detail that this room is set up specifically in order to inhibit something. There are 4 glowing statues at each end of the room from just what you can normally see, but you're not sure what they are designed for.
No, but then the next 2 people who would be smarter with magic kind of things going on would be also Haley and then also Leo.
Yeah.
So she'd look to Haley and she'd be like, "What's going on? This is weird." And she points at the statues, like, "What is this?" So, she's not gonna go straight forward to attack, but she'd probably approach, the one on the closer to Haley, but in passing also tap her with Shield of Faith.
Okay.
Because she got hit pretty hard last time, so she's got Shield of Faith at least for 10 minutes.
All right.
She wants to know what she can do with it, like what would she have to do, because part of her thinks either something's going on with the statue that she either has to manipulate or she just has to destroy it.
From what you can tell, this statue has something at the bottom of it if you look hard enough. It's shaped in a really weird way. Make an investigation check real quick.
Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, come on.
Oh, sweet, sweet summer child.
Would Haley be helping her? To be fair, she's asking her for help.
It's not Haley's turn.
I know. I mean, this is true to her fucking intelligence.
Yep. Fortunately, as far as you can tell, there's something going on with the base of the statue. You're just not sure what.
Okay, well, if she doesn't know what, she's gonna go with the simple things and bap it with her quarterstaff.
Pow.
Was Shield of Faith an action?
Yeah. I think. Hold on.
That's an action.
Yep.
I think Shield of Faith is a bonus action, actually.
Yeah, it is. It has bonus. Yep.
All right, so you
Sorry.
could bap the thing if you want to.
She wants to bap the thing. If she doesn't understand what it is intelligently, she will do the next thing.
Okay.
Bap it.
Make an attack roll.
Oh.
Hey, 24.
24?
Yeah.
I need you to make a saving. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okie day. 15.
You make it, but as you bat the statue, it glows heavily. And as it does, you being the only one, as this point from the statue, as it hits the ground, suddenly there is this line of fire that runs across the floor. About right before the chains would meet the center of the room. As it does, you are hit with an Anaganzar Scorcher.
Okay, I do
And
have...
you take
I
10
do have-
points of fire damage.
I'm resistant to fire. I have fire resistance, don't I?
Okay, so with the save and your resistance, you take 3 points of fire damage. Is it?
Wait. And she'd go,
And-
ow! Go for the statues! Go for the statues! Ah! Just,
And
so like, if anyone was watching Citra, she just like, just jumps to the side. She's trying to connect dots. She's missing a few, but she's getting there, okay?
also, for the sake of the argument, Citra, are you stressed right now?
Oh, yeah.
Make me a wisdom saving throw.
Okie day. 18.
Okay. You can feel a well of energy deep within you as you can hear Sov deep beneath. Do what must be done. And almost as if inching away, almost as if like meeting face to face only to inch away, and slowly you could feel that power within your bloodline begin to build.
And
And that is going to be the end of Citra's turn.
yeah, I can only use one bonus action. But yeah,
Yep.
she did say to everyone else, go for the statues.
All right. It is now this giant's turn. And at the start of it, he heals 8 points.
Oh, quick question. Because Shield of Faith is technically a concentration as well.
Yes, you need to make a
Yeah.
concentration check.
Thank you.
Yep.
Ah, oh boy. That's an 11.
Unfortunately, no.
To be fair, it makes sense. She wasn't exactly expecting to be shot at by fire, so.
Wait,
Yep.
how much damage did she take?
3.
3.
11 passes.
So,
What?
no, it's
A con-
10 plus damage.
Huh? What are we talking about?
Isn't that how concentration works?
Concentration check is 10 or half of the damage you took, whichever is higher.
Oh, well then, yeah, you maintain it. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I'm thinking probably counterspell. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. I was just trying to be sure about it because I know that's one of my concentration ones, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, my
So
bad.
Haley still has a +2 to her armor.
Wanna know what? I'm gonna say I need something just to mark that. Let's say that's gonna be your Shield of Faith for now.
Sweet.
Okay. So, that being the end of your turn, it is now Giant's turn. He heals 8 points of damage. As you can see, the wounds closing up and the blood that was once slowly dripping from it being put back into the body. All right. That being said, it's now his turn, and he is just gonna stay within range of Burra, and he's just gonna get close enough because he's gonna hit the things that hurt him the most. Ooh. He's gonna make 2 great axe attacks, one onto Burra and then one onto Virgil.
No, Burby, no.
All right.
Oh boy.
Oh, buddy.
Burra, that's going to be a natural 20 on you.
Oh, God.
Yep, and for Virgil, that is going to be... That is going to be a 17 to hit. Dante, what is Virgil's AC again?
Virgil's AC is 15.
Fortunately not. All right. Here I go, rolling damage.
Here you go, Fizzle.
All right. So, Burra, you are taking quite a bit of damage because this is a critical hit. 12. You are taking 29 points of slashing damage as the first axe comes down onto the ground as you see sparks splinter across the cobblestone. It runs across your entire abdomen before it comes reaching around onto Virgil, who is taking... Sorry. It's taking 20 points of slashing damage as well as it onto Burra swings around and it hits Virgil and it lands into the side of the stonework right here as it pulls back and then it slams its fist into the ground like a giant gorilla and just that's going to be the end of its turn.
And Virgil is down.
All right.
Oh, Burby, no. This bird is like, I don't get paid enough for this.
Virgil keeps coming back.
Just to get smacked.
Yeah. All right, and next up is Leodon.
Okay, Leo hears Citra, and an idea flashes on his expression. I'm gonna... Yes, I'm going to back up a little bit against the wall that's closest to me on the right, sort of like parallel with Bruh, but just up against that wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. And I'm going to shift my shoulder down, and a little hummingbird is gonna pop up from underneath my hair, sit on my shoulder, and its wings are gonna flutter, and feathers are going to just spray across this thing, but attached to the feathers are these little silvery strands that are sort of azure in color as I cast Web.
Oh, okay.
So the web is going to be anchored between sort of the pillar that is closest to the giant and the one that is closest to, I'm assuming that's Haley.
Okay, so these 2 points?
It is 20 foot cube. Yeah. It's
okay.
Essentially going to just make this whole area there full of webbing. And then...
Actually...
Starts his turn there, or enters it during his turn. So nothing happens right now, but...
Citra is also getting caught up in that.
That's fine. Nothing happened. Like I said, nothing happens right now.
Yeah.
But I will. I'm assuming you tell her to move.
Yeah, I just say, Citra, watch out! And all of these webs just build up and build in this area here, and at the start of everything in that area's turn, something's gonna happen.
Okay. Good to know. Let's see.
That is all I can do for right now, however.
Alright. Sounds good. Alright, Haley is up. She is gonna go... She's gonna come up to this statue and inspect it. Yeah. Luckily, she does have advantage on insight, so here's the thing.
I mean, it was
Even with
investigation.
her exhaustion, it's just a straight roll. So as far as she can tell, she's looking at the statue and kind of just like inspecting it and then looking back at the giant. It still comes off to note one thing. This giant has what looks like to be these loops on its belt that is still attached to the rest of the body. And that's where the chains had held it down to the floor. As she screams out to the rest of you, "You need to attach the chains under the statues to the creature." As she runs over and she just and starts pulling. However, she needs to make a saving throw.
Something funny happens.
Oh, Haley!
Unfortunately, she does not make a saving throw. She is gashed by blades of wind as this comes as one large slashing sound as it rings out. You can see as there's blood over the shoulders as she takes 8 points of slashing damage.
Ooh.
Ouch.
That's a
And
spicy...
she's still holding on to the chain. She's just kind of, okay. And that is going to be her action. All right. Top of the round. Dante, you're up. And Burra, you're on deck.
Oh, I got an idea. What's the range from me and that statue right into the bottom left corner?
This one right over here?
Yeah.
That's gonna be... That's about 40 feet from where you are.
40 feet?
Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna take a shot at one of those statues. The statue that's closest to the giant.
Okay. Keep in mind that giant is massive. This is going to be with disadvantage because he's technically in the way of it. But
Okay.
give it a go. Actually, you
Alright.
want to know what? If you're not moving, are you steady shotting this?
I'm gonna steady shot it.
Okay, so you can't use your movement for this turn, but I'll let you say it's a one straight roll to see if it hits.
All right.
Whoa.
And Dusk Mother, please help us. It's an 11. Does it barely hit?
Unfortunately, no.
Damn it!
As he is a big, massive thing standing in front of your way to hit that statue. You fire, and it just into the side of one of the patchwork leather armors and unfazed by the attack. So, that being said, bonus action, That's your action. Movement. You done?
Can I summon Virgil again?
That's a bonus action.
Okay. I guess that's it.
All right. So, and Dante's turn. Burra, you're up. Citra, you're on deck.
Okay.
Slashing that thing again.
All right. Give it a go.
Okay. That's a miss. That's also a miss.
Yeah, just this thing's big and just covered in armor as you. It's just not cutting in the way that you regularly would.
Bonus action. Let's see, do I have any heals? Fuck it. If I'm done smoking my grass again.
Alright, just.
Then roll
That's your bonus action.
1d4 for healing.
Yep. How many times have you used this grass now?
Twice. It'll be the second time.
Well, did you buy any more before you left the EHS?
I still have 6 left.
Okay, as long as you keep a record.
I'm keeping record.
Okay.
4 points of healing.
All right.
All right.
It's good.
It's really good.
Breathing out smoke.
He has
All
a
right.
crippling addiction.
Crippling addiction indeed.
Oh yeah, I have a crippling addiction. All right. So that's gonna be the end of Burra's turn. It is now Citra, and the Frost Giant will be up next.
Okay, so does this thing have eyeballs?
Citra, one point of note,
Yeah.
since Citra was in the area of the spell, you need to make a dexterity saving throw at the start of your turn.
Okay. Why? An 11.
Oh no. Do you have your special funny ability that
Only
lets you
once a
add-
day.
Oh.
It's okay.
You're restrained.
That's fine. It's fine. So, she's terrified because this guy's huge. We got a problem going on. We clearly have to fix it. You know, she heard what Haley has to say. But this guy is strong. But her fear of what Haley's gonna think is gonna be second seat now to what she feels that needs to be done. Since she passed her wisdom save, can she use it? Can she use her bloodline?
Yes.
Okay. She's gonna try to blind the fucker while transforming. So before she does, she looks at Haley and says, I will do my best to explain what's about to happen later, but you're gonna have to trust me. And she would basically just close her eyes and just screech it out and pop out the wings and the halo and try to blind it while also hitting it with radiant damage.
Okay. Keep in mind, you are still restrained.
She knows.
Yeah. As you guys see, as the energy begins to well up, you see the two golden wings as they unfurl, and this giant golden halo over the horns. As Citra, you are in full control of this form right now.
Yeah. And she's trying to blind it with that transformation.
All right, and he needs to make a Constitution saving throw for that. I'm basing it off of. I am basing it off of your wisdom, your proficiency, and then also on top of.
All right,
8.
wisdom and okay.
So wisdom and proficiency.
16.
What is that? 16.
It's a 14
Okay.
and then a +2 on the wisdom.
Yes. Okay, that is going to be an 8.
And then she's
And-
gonna hit him with radiant damage. 6 total radiant damage.
You cannot physically attack him.
No,
that
it's
is if the blindness thing is from the transformation, but the actual damage is when you make a physical attack onto
Oh,
somebody.
okay, sorry.
Yeah.
This is my first time actually
Sorry.
using that part, so I
Yeah.
apologize.
Yeah. All right. So,
But that was her bonus action, technically, for her ability to transform. What does she have to do to get out of this web?
yeah.
You can use your action to make a strength check
Ooh, boy. Okay.
And if you succeed, you're no longer restrained.
Oh, okay. What do I have to pass?
14.
That is a nat 20!
Nice.
Woo! And she's gonna take flight if she can to get out of that. Like, just hover at least if she can.
Okay. Yeah, there's about 10, 15 feet of clearance.
Yeah, she'll go
from
up
the
if
roof.
she can then. And then she'd yell at Bura, "Get the statues! Stop hitting it! We have to attach chains!"
Alright.
Fine,
As-
fine, okay, I'll attack the statues. Jeez.
As
It
you,
was more fun hitting it anyway.
as your wing beats just take up, you are in flight, and you can see the deepened scowl. This thing is, by the way, blinded after that effect, as he's.
And for the last bit, she'd look at Haley trying to make sure this woman's not terrified of her at this point.
She looks interested, marginally impressed, but also has a lot of questions.
Okay.
Maybe for later.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's
So-
all she can do because she used her her action to get out, so.
Okay. That will be for that. Alright, so, as Citra's turn, it is now the Frost Giant's turn.
It needs
He
to make
needs
a
to
dexterity
make-
saving throw.
He has a -1 to dexterity.
Oh boy, this one's
He
gonna be
rolled
good.
a 4, turned into a 3.
Ouch!
He is restrained.
Restrained on top of blinded,
Gotta love those utilities.
as he's now getting caught up in the web from being blinded. By the way, would that have been a disadvantage if he's blinded? Can't see.
I don't think so. I don't think blinded
Okay.
causes disadvantage on saving throws.
Okay.
Yeah, it just means attacks have disadvantage.
Okay. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage, and the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage. The creature has disadvantage on dexterity and saving throws. Dexterity saving throws. So this is a premier time to really beat this thing up if you ever tried. In the meantime of all of that, he is now swinging wildly. And he's going to try and make an attack onto Bura, and he is going to try and make an attack onto Citra, of course, with disadvantage. Double disadvantage for the night! Alright. So, for Bura, at lowest with a 14 plus...
Thanks, Kobold.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Bura, you're still going to get hit.
Oh.
Even at my lowest, I still have my
It's
bonuses
still a
for
frost giant.
that. Yeah, he's still a frost giant. He is a physical hazard in this space. So, Bura, like with him swinging wildly, you have no idea where he's going to attack and how. You're taking 20 points of slashing damage for that
Okay,
attack.
I'm going to have to use it. Alright, in
Yes.
that case...
And keep in
4
mind-
each-
Keep in mind, you keep that on record. You're not taking damage right now because of the effects of the Jormungandr grass.
Alright, so I'm going to pull out all my shit next time.
Yeah. And then Citra. It's going to be a natural 1 for his
Oh my
lowest
God.
roll, as he's just going as he's getting more caught up in the web. He's just slamming his great axe before it comes over towards you as you shrink your legs up almost like naturally. Like this is pure battle mode Citra.
She's listening to Sav. Alright, like, we're gonna work together now, buddy.
And in doing so, you hear, "Good. Now fuck him up." All right. And
She didn't say it, Sav did.
all right.
Is this
See, and at the end of his turn, does he get to make a save in order to get out of being restrained?
No.
So he has to spend his actual action to get out of it.
He has to take an action to make a strength check to try and escape this.
Okay. We'll find out about that in a minute. That will be the end of the Frost Giant's turn, as he's trying to come into conclusion with how this whole thing works. That being said, it is now your turn, Leodon. What are you doing?
Okay. Hearing that we need to attach chains to this guy's belt, I am going to wander over to this brown statue over here.
Yes. Here, I will increase the brightness for those to the best of my ability. All right.
Form.
I see any chains on this thing?
You can see as you're looking at the base of this, and especially now with the information and your passive, you can see at the bottom there is this small hook-like thing, and it comes with what looks like to be a strange attachment to it as you grab hold of it. Do you grab hold of it?
Does it look particularly weighty? Because every time
really.
someone's fucked with these statues, would you say the chains weigh more than 10 pounds?
No.
In that case, seeing that everybody's activated some sort of weird thing so far, I am instead going to use Mage Hand to drag the chains out and pull it 30 feet towards this thing's belt.
Okay.
As it takes the form of a little hummingbird that
I love them.
grabs the chains and drags it over to it.
Nice.
Here's the thing. Each one has a different effect. This one being Earth. Double check on the radius. Alright, you're just outside of it. As this thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You get
Mark
30
that
feet.
where that chain is now. As you use Mage Hand in order to have it grabbed, and as it begins to pull, you see as the earth cracks and crumbles in it, almost overturns before settling back down. Would have crushed your feet as the chain is pulled as close as it possibly can right up to the giant. All right.
Yep, that'll be my turn.
Okay. That being said, it is now Haley's turn. Haley taking several different deep breaths, going, okay, and she just books it with the chain behind her. Gets up to the giant, and she sees one of the hooks, or one of the large metal hooks, as it does, you can hear as it magically locks in, and you can see that it is now being slightly dragged one direction. Every turn, he will be moved 5 feet towards this statue, as long as it remains attached. All right. And that is on Haley's turn. All right, that's the end of Haley. It is now Dante. You're up. And I lost my pen.
No, pen, come back.
You can physically watch it fly this direction.
All right, so I'm gonna use my bonus action to resummon Virgil.
All right. He does.
All right, Virgil, get that chain at the water statue.
He goes, ah! So,
And how many?
4. I'm going to say he barely gets up to it, but not enough for him to actually physically get to the chain just yet.
Okay.
But could he attack it?
All right.
All right. So in lieu of that, because I know he's going to start moving towards the air statue, I'm going to move around besides Leo.
All right.
Behind, you know what? Yeah, that will work. And what should I do? Can I toss an item to somebody?
It would matter. It'd be a matter of dexterity on both ends of the party. So,
Thick.
who's doing what?
I was thinking about doing something, but I don't think I can do it.
You still have your attack.
I do still have my attack, but I don't know. Okay,
Technically, you would get sneak attack right now because he is blinded and restrained.
Okay, I'll do sneak attack, and I'm gonna aim for his eye.
All right.
I want to make sure he's permanently blinded. Okay, let me see. And damn, it's gonna be an 8.
All right. As you let go of one arrow, it just hits the metal helm as it splinters and actually breaks this time. You lose the arrow as it. So loud, so sticky.
Wait, I haven't used Virgil's action yet, have I?
You had his movement, yes.
It was this movement the only thing I'm allowed to use?
No, he still has an attack.
You didn't roll with advantage.
Oh, I didn't roll with advantage. Okay, so I didn't roll with advantage for shooting at the eye.
Shooting. Yeah, go ahead and roll with advantage.
Sorry, I keep forgetting.
Oh yeah.
All right,
it's
gonna be a 17.
That will actually hit.
Yay!
That will hit. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna do. Okay, so I'm gonna do the. Okay, so that's 5 points regular, and then with the bonus. Oh wait, actually 8. So it's 8 with the regular damage, and then 14 for the sneak attack damage. And I'm going for one of his eyes.
All right. That's all right. As roll that back a bit, as the arrow just comes right up from under, just a little above the eye, unfortunately, as it. And that's going to be your attack. What about Virgil?
Virgil, I'm going to have him do another Eldritch Scream.
All right, go ahead and make your ranged spell attack.
Okay.
All I can hear is Lemon grab. This is unacceptable!
This is unacceptable.
Okay, so that is 17 plus 4, so that is a 21 to hit.
All right, that hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
All right, for damage, let me see. D4 plus 2. Sorry, I misrolled. 1 sec. I accidentally double-clicked. There we go.
On time?
All right, so that's a 4 plus 2, so that's a 6 points of damage.
6 points of damage. All right. All right. I do think you guys can actually finish this in time, so I'm gonna push it for another 15 if we're okay.
I'm good.
Are we okay, guys?
Yeah.
I'm okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Us East Coasters.
All right. So that's gonna be the end of Dante's turn. Bruh, what are you doing?
All right, I'm enjoying Dante and the stabbing. Well, actually, the statues are covered, right? Just want to double check and make sure.
No, the
right.
fire one is currently being ignored by Citra.
Not ignored. She did a thing to help.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you see the cover one of the statues or start stabbing in the eye. Well, since most of my attacks are going to miss, looks like the top right green statue is unoccupied, so I guess I should start.
That was the one that was recently attached.
There's
so
a mage
Haley
hand.
already
this
attached
one
that
is done. Yeah.
Yeah. Haley
Here,
attached
you
that
want to know
one.
what? I will signal it by laying down the actual
All
statue.
right.
Yeah.
All right,
And-
and then
You have that earth one close to you.
Yeah. There's currently one chain from the Earth statue currently being done, and it's right next to you.
Yeah, it's being held by a hummingbird.
Yeah.
and I'll go to the other one and do what I need to do for that one.
No,
All right.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Right next
Right
to
in
you.
front of you. That clear dot right next to you, that's the end of the chain.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Citra.
And Citra died.
All right, so
Citra has been slain.
so I should attach the chain to the guy.
Yep.
Yeah, if you
All
want
right.
to.
All right, I'm doing that.
All
I'm
right.
doing the eye stab if I have a bonus action.
As this is going to be your action to do, as it's going to be a bonus action to grab this and an action to attach.
Oh, no eye stabbing. Okay, then I'll just attach the chain on him.
All right. As you see this thing, you grab it, and then you see one of the metal loops as it locks in place. You can hear the chain now beginning to pull taut.
Shit.
And
fuck! Forgot my bonus action. Relentless endurance. Fuck! This thing's gonna kill me.
Can you not move away? Oh, it's 2 actions, right? Never mind.
Relentless endurance, I think, goes off when you hit 0 hit points.
yeah, it's literally like if you hit 0 hit points, it brings you back up to 1 hit point.
It's me,
You're
your
still-
resident D&D encyclopedia here.
So, it's
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah. All right, and now with that chain attached, it's now pulling him in that direction as well. So it will now begin to pull him towards this end of the room, towards the center.
Ah!
Yep. All right. So, that being the end of Burrow's turn, Citra, you're up.
Cool. So the chain's below her, and she doesn't want to touch the web. Could she use her mage hand to grab it and attach it to him?
Actually, yes.
Because she will do that. She doesn't want to get stuck in the web.
I need to double check Anagan's or Scorcher real quick
Go for it.
because I need to know how high it goes. You're 15 feet into the air. I'm not sure if it goes.
For the chain or for mage hand?
No, for the Anagazor's Scorcher, because
okay.
it is a spell effect that creates a small line that goes up. Let's see.
I think it's...
How high is it?
It says 5 feet wide. I imagine it would just go 5 feet.
5 feet wide, 5 feet up. Then I'll say, Citra, you're in the clear as you use Mage Hand to grab hold of it. It 5 up, and then it just runs across the room, and then as the chain floats over, you hear a and it's now beginning to pull in these 3 directions, which is pulling now closer towards this end of the room.
Got it. She knows hitting it's really not going to do anything, so she's going to want to get out of that direction and probably end up going towards that other statue in the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's going to fly as fast as she can away from him.
All right. I'll put you right there.
Also, notably, any of the web in that fire has ignited.
Oh.
Yep, web is flammable.
Is he also on fire?
Not... So Agonizer's Scorcher goes 30 feet out, I think, right? Or
Yes.
is this
No,
unique?
15 feet and then by a 5-foot square.
Okay, if he's not in the range of the Scorcher, then he would not be ignited. But if he did, he'd be taking additional damage.
Let's see. I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yeah.
All right. In that case,
Rules is
the webs
rules
around
is
him
written.
begin to.
Rules is written. Yeah.
Okay. The webs around him begin to burn away. He takes an additional 2d4 fire damage.
Okay. So he's taking 12 points of fire damage. He is looking very hurt, and he's reaching the halfway point of bloody.
He is no longer restrained, however, because the webs burned away.
Okay.
But he is blinded.
But he's still blind. All right. Okay. So, that being the end of Citra's turn, it is the Frost Giant's turn. It's going to heal first, 1 point. 1. And it's at the end of his turn that he makes his Constitution save. As he is now very angry and still slamming around wildly as he begins to feel the physical freedom. He is going to make...
So he's got 3 chains or 2 chains on him?
3.
Okay, so the wooden one, or the earth one and the fire one are knocked over then, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
There you
just
go.
trying to keep mental inventory here.
Yep. So that is going to be... As he does, you want to know what? He's just going to make his 2 attacks. 1 on Haley, 1 on Burra.
At disadvantage.
Yep. They are with disadvantage. Natural 1, Burra.
Nice.
And then on Haley. Haley gets a unfortunate 21.
Ow. Oh. We're squishy, it's not
That's
good.
sad.
Yep. Oh, she's about to get hit. Not hit that much. Fuck.
Oh, thank God.
I'm rolling like crap tonight. That's
Thank
gonna
you,
be,
dice gods.
That's gonna be 8 points of slashing damage as he barely comes over. You're trying to match his wild movements, Burra, as the first axe comes down. The second one comes down behind you, and you're all like, oh, I'm fine. And you hear a slight screech coming from, unfortunately, Haley, as she's cut once again, now with 2 marks on her shoulder. All right, so end of his turn. It is Constitution. All right, he overcomes the blindness as he is just like, and you can see the blood red eyes coming out from beneath the helmet of this creature.
At least he's flanked.
Technically, there's nobody else on the other side of him. Oh, no, wait.
Citra is.
Citra and Virgil is. He is flanked.
Yeah,
But-
Birds
baby.
of a feather flock together, baby.
All right.
Ooh, and that's how we do
so-
in the Azure Feathers.
All right, and that's going to be the end of his turn. It is now Leodon's turn, and Haley on deck.
Seeing as how Citra's got the last statue down pat, it's time to throw some axes.
All right.
Throw hands.
I'm going to pull my hand axes out of their holster, and I'm gonna start whipping them.
All right.
First axe. That's a dagger. Here we go. Hermes hand axe going out. Oh, that was almost a natural 20. That's a 9.
But do they return?
They do
It does-
return.
It does
Ah.
return. As this, whenever this thing actually hits a surface, it returns to the belt of Leodon.
Nice.
So comes back.
Yeah. As
I'm already pulling out the second axe.
yeah, as it goes overhead, hits the ceiling.
That is
right back onto the belt.
fancy. That is so fancy. I love it.
Come on, give it to me, 14?
14? Fortunately, no. As this one just gets close enough, as you throw another one, as it curves around, hits the side of the metal helmet, and it just right back onto the belt. And he's just puny little man. And he's
Bonus action.
so angry.
Third swing.
Okay.
Damn.
Because
Right.
my hand axes are light weapons, I can throw them again. Oh, come on. That's an 11.
Oh, Leo's not
As-
having it this round.
As
I'm having a great
he's
day.
screaming, you think your first thought is to throw it straight at his mouth, and as you do, you go as it comes close. He bites
And then
down
it-
on the axe before it returns back to you.
You're just angering him more.
Well, yeah, seeing as how pissed he is, I'm gonna look to Dante and be like, "Ooh." And then
Does-
I'm going to I'm gonna reposition away from Dante, sort of up towards the wind statue.
Okay.
He's being pulled in that direction, right?
Yes. Oh, goodness.
Towards the wind statue in the upper right corner.
He's got 3 of them attached now, though.
Yeah, you're making your way there.
So if we can just get that last one attached to him.
Oh,
he'll
I thought
be
that was a
stuck in
water
the middle.
statue.
Citra just died.
Sorry.
Citra fucking
Sorry,
died
my
again.
Citra's a little top heavy, so she falls a lot.
Yeah.
Got a lot going on up there.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Get you right there.
That was everything I could do, so that's my turn.
All right. It is now Haley's turn. At this round, he is getting moved 5 feet this direction. Yeah, as you can hear the chains going clink, 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 clink. All right. And you can see all right. It's now Haley's turn. You want to know what? Fireball.
There it is.
Firebolt. Sorry.
Okay, I was like, am I gonna
Not
have
fireball.
to fly?
That is
Fireball.
worse.
Firebolt.
The rest of us on the other side of the room just
Alright, range spell attack. Natural 20.
Whoa.
Ooh. Unfortunately, it is a spell, so it doesn't get that kind of bonus.
Damn.
Aww.
Yeah. But it does max damage of 10 hit points.
Nice.
Yeah. Alright. Okay. And you can see as she's contemplating to do something else with the blood before kind of drawing it back in, considering that the fight might be won at this point. All right, top of the round, Dante.
All right, so I'm gonna have. Damn, I don't know if I should do that. I'm gonna have Virgil turn around and do an Eldritch Screech right at the guy.
Okay.
Oh, so you're leaving the chain to Citra?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
You're leaving the chain to Citra instead?
Yeah, I'm leaving the chain to Citra. Cause that mage hand is gonna do better than if I try to have
You're right.
Virgil, swoop in and then possibly get like ghosted again.
This poor bird.
Yeah. So easy to die, but so simple. Such a
Alright,
simple
so
creature.
Okay, let me see. So I'm gonna have a Screech plus 4 plus 15. All right, so that's gonna be 19 to hit.
That will hit.
All right, and then
Go ahead and roll damage.
Roll damage. Oh, bitch. All right, so he's going to do 9 plus 2, 11 damage of Screech, force damage.
Okay. As it hits the back of this, and he is. You can tell he is looking bloodied and bruised and battered. He's probably on his last leg for right now. All right.
And then for me, I'm gonna move around behind him to get does my movement take me to that far wall behind him? Like, directly across from me?
It will get you right under Citra, who keeps falling off this thing.
She's big!
You know what? That will do.
Yeah, she's like, what, 15 feet above Dante?
Yeah.
Yeah, right there will be fine.
Okay.
Buddies stick together.
Yeah.
Birds of feathers stick together.
That's all I'm going to do.
Okay. Burra, you're up.
Okay, so. Alright, so he's still blinded.
No,
he's not blinded. He's not blinded.
Okay,
He's not
time
restrained.
to make him blind again.
All right. What are you doing?
Blinding him again.
How do you intend to blind him?
How tall is he?
He fits this room. He's pretty damn tall, somewhere around 15, 20 feet, which is the main reason why you come up to the ceiling and you're at level with him.
I am eye level with this dude.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna climb up on him and shout Colossus style.
I mean, make an athletics check.
Every time I try to do something.
I know.
7.
7. As you try and climb up the side of this leg, and you manage to get one of your foot onto one of the chains, and then it just runs along the chain, and you go right back onto the ground, and you're like, shit.
You know what? Okay, so I guess second turn.
You just want to give him a big ol' hug.
Well, I can use Fighting Spirit right now. Actually, fuck it. I'm just gonna use Fighting Spirits. Well, casting Fighting Spirit and Second Wind all takes up a turn, or takes up an action. Yeah.
I will consider you trying to climb him a bonus action.
Alright, if that's the case, then I'm just gonna focus on healing just try and get myself to survive in case this guy does something stupid. Alright,
Okay.
Fighting Spirit. Give myself 5 temporary HP. Giving myself 9. And then, Second Wind. Weekend.
It is one or the other. Unfortunately, you have to choose one or the other. Because each one takes a certain action.
Then I am going to do Second Wind then.
Okay.
So I regain health, 1d10 plus 5 HP. Just enough to keep me alive.
Alright.
10.
And is that going to be your turn?
That is going to be my turn. So I am at 11 HP.
Okay. So.
I want to do something cool.
I know, the game of D&D. So, Citra, I am assuming... Oh, you're using Mage Hand, aren't you?
Yep. Absolutely. She learned once. She doesn't have to stick her hand on the stove twice.
Okay. So, as you use Mage Hand, there is a torrent of water that billows out from the bottom of it as it just would rush and knock you on your ass. Fortunately, nobody is caught up into it as the chain is... Let's see, 1, 2, 3... No, it would reach.
She gonna do it.
As the chain is... As you hear each chain begin to rattle and shake with energy as it begins to build. As this creature is then suddenly surged with necrotic energy that is well over the hit points that would have taken him to survive that, as he hits the ground hard. With that, you guys pass the first trial.
And Citra loses her wings and falls to the ground because it only lasts so long.
It does.
And she was 15 feet up in the air, so do I have to do an acrobatics for that?
You could just as it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was just like an instant poof or, you know.
Yeah. It doesn't just automatically end and then you're done.
Drops your ass. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Then she would do that. She'd just kind of land beside Dante, but hold on to his shoulder okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, God. So, before we end, as this creature now lays on the ground, he is now being dragged back to the center. As each of the chains glow and wrap around him like before, and then reseal him to the center of the room. And the door that was across behind him goes. Congratulations on succeeding your first test.
Thanks.
As such, there is a stairway that leads higher to the second level of this tower. As all of you begin to prepare for what might come next, if this is trial 1, you have no idea what might happen next time on D6.
Citra had to use that. Oh my god.
I wonder.
Yeah, woo! An action-packed episode. I'm really glad.
2 battles in one? Is this Christmas?
I know, right?
And now Citra has lots of splaining to do.
Yeah, she does.
But hey, it kept us alive.
Okay.
All right. So, that being said, we're going to go ahead, jump onto a couple of quick announcements from each of us, and then we'll go ahead and head on off. We went a little over on this episode, so I do apologize to all of you. I know. I kind of did expect that you guys be able to complete the puzzle as quickly as possible. But yeah, it turned out relatively well. I'm glad. Alrighty, so yeah, that was the episode. That's the episode. First and foremost, before we head on off, we got some quick announcements. Coming from me, I have amazing news. How to Be an Adventurer is currently almost done. The episode is laid out. I am talking to some people who might probably help me with the editing, so that way it will be released in May.
Nice.
Hopefully, maybe on my birthday. We will see.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Birthday.
I gotta have a conversation with you, Desi, because I know you have plans.
Okay.
Anyways, and also, second announcement, I have been on not really a D&D, a tabletop miniseries with our wonderful friends over at Fables 20, which is ran by my buddy C-Mike, who is also the creative director of Son of a Dungeon by Corridor Digital. Myself, along with Jake from Vsauce 3 and Allie, which is C-Mike's girlfriend, as well as another name that is now escaping me. I apologize. We all are playing an Alien tabletop miniseries. It is based off of Ridley Scott's Alien.
Yes.
It is terrifying. There is such thing as stress dice, so it replicates people being stupid in horror movies. So if you guys are interested, yeah, right? So if you guys are interested in checking that out, there are already 2 episodes. By the time this episode comes out, episode 3 will be out for the miniseries. So if you guys want to go ahead and check it out, please, by all means, do. It would be well loved and appreciated. My goodness. And let's see. Last but not least, next week will be technically the last episode for this chapter of the story of D6. If I need to extend it for an extra episode, I will let you all know. But after that episode, we will be taking a 2 to 3 week break to kind of relax, reaccumulate everything that we need to accumulate. Let me work on some notes and also do some planning, especially with Joe, because we are working on the Amen one-shot or miniseries.
And I got some art to work on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got some art to work on for something really special coming out for chapter 2. So, yeah. So if you guys are wondering what happens to us after next week, there you go. That's just how I'm planning a lot of this, so that way we're not overly stressed about trying to get to game every week. Okay. This also gives us a room to breathe in.
Yeah.
Also, sorry to interrupt. I got a dip, so no announces from me. Bye.
Bye.
All right. See ya. All right. So that's it from me. Next up is Blue. How you now?
I'm exhausted, but I'm happy to be back. The move was a nightmare, but we survived. Got stuff to do. But with that said, my computer and everything's back to running condition, as you can see. So my commissions are open now, and I don't have to worry about not having to deal with, oh god, I might be out for a week or so. So other than that, nothing much, and I expect to see more art from me for this game.
All right. Awesome. Next up is Connor, Distortion Devil. This is going live on the
17th.
of this month. Yeah. Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Nice. Yes.
Hell yeah.
You make me want to play a bard, dude.
Yeah.
What? Ooh.
Woo!
Nice.
Hell yeah!
Nice.
Looking forward to it.
I'm proud of you.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
Alrighty. Yeah.
Another
Alrighty.
5 years.
All right, and with Jade being out with no announcements, last but not least, my good friend Daito.
Hey, so
We did
couple
a
things
lot
for
of
me.
stuff.
Episode 8 / season 2, episode 1, Go Hunters is up on my channel.
Yeah.
Hopefully when the video comes out, the link to it will be in the link in the description.
Yeah.
There's a slight break with KWC. One of the animes needed a bit more time with one of the animations, which threw off the schedule a bit. But hopefully by the time this episode comes out, the low funny episode of KWC will be out, which will be the first Pokemon episode. And we done like a Pokemon trainer for the first episode, but first Pokemon theme episode.
Oh my.
So please give that a watch. Anyway, that's it for me.
Oh god, and I did sound effect design for Gohanverse. I was so happy with how it turned out.
Mm-hmm.
So amazing. I loved it. All right.
Yeah.
So, no other pressing matters.
No.
Okay.
We came back. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We did it.
So, that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And we love you so much. Don't forget, see you next Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See ya.